Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is A Cold Fire Within. It was written by Christopher Smith Adair, and it's available from Chaosium and Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is Keith Craig, and this is episode 9. Our recap will be given by me as my character, Damiel Drakos. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. I'm not sure exactly how I feel. I feel different. I feel maybe a little dead inside, nearly dead. His Grace the Bishop once told me that you can effectively kill your consciousness if you're not vigilant against evil. I think he might be right and I might be on that path. But even so, I really didn't intend on provoking the murder of 2 men. Not innocent, but still. I'm affected by it much less than I expected. I grow cold inside. If our cause is just, but is it? Are we moral, immoral, amoral? I'm practicing my newfound abilities every day. I am fully committed with the same intensity that I dedicated to the church. I wonder if there are books written on the subject, telekinesis. The Hillbilly brothers weren't much help, but we did learn that Leopold Fontenelle is up here and that he warned the bumpkins to keep an eye out for us. We are guessing that the races are somewhere up Devil's Pass, but we figured we weren't quite ready to head up there, so it's off to Woodstock and the Slaughter Institute. I thought it was a mental institution, but it turns out that it's more of a psychical investigation institute. I'm not sure that I want to do any demonstrations for them. We'll see how that plays out. So we get here and we meet Dr. Yvonne Kalisham and Dr. Bertrand Winslow. They seem pretty generic and no nonsense. The Institute itself is suffering as of late. Seems a number of people have gone missing under unusual circumstances. It kind of reminds me of the Shiflets, Father James and his wife and their 7 kids. That little girl was never quite the same after her disappearance and reappearance. Morrison says the children are unreliable, but the facts I know is that if you asked her about it, she became silent for a moment and then hysterical. It's not the words, it's the reaction. I've often thought she went somewhere, she stepped through a door into someplace else, certainly not heaven, maybe the other place. The other residents here seem harmless. Seems like just about everyone can speak to the dead. Of course, that's very convenient when no one else can. I can think of some interesting experiments using 2 of them separated and having them chat with the same dead spirit, see if their testimony matches. Of course, I don't believe in such things. Dinner looks good. Good thing I'm not fasting today. It's interesting here, but other than that, I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, and there's supposed to be visible ghosts here as well. We'll see.
All right. Excellent. So as we ended on last session, you guys were headed down to dinner. When you walked in, Dr. Kalisham was sitting at the head of the table with Dr. Winslow at the other end, and the 3 patients were also sitting there. There are, of course, seats for all of you. They stand up when you come in, and Yvonne smiles, and she's like, "Oh, thank you for joining us for dinner. It's modest, but it's what we have."
Thank you for having us.
No issue. She's like, Joseph, do you mind bringing the wine? We have white wine. Hope that's okay.
I have vodka. And I put a bottle of vodka on the table.
Oh, we won't judge. As long as you enjoy that, good sir. That'll be good enough.
For all. Go, take.
Ted, of course, when he says that, he's like, I think I'll have me some of the vodka over the white wine. Like, what is it? Prost or no? That's German.
Astoria.
Yes. He goes, so it's good to see all of you here. What? Tell me, Milton, what is your game plan for maybe figuring out what's going on?
Oh, we need to get the lay of the land first. So we need to explore the site, basically do your basic investigation, and then if there's anything that comes up from there, we react accordingly. But yeah, take it as it comes.
Yeah, I suppose that you're the experts. And Ted looks up again after taking a sip of the vodka. He's like going, maybe you could talk to Chief Joseph when he comes around tonight.
Any particular reason why him?
Well, there's ghost Indians wandering the halls, and the local legend says it's Chief Joseph Brandt.
Does he keep to a particularly reliable schedule?
Oh well, yeah, no, not a real reliable schedule, but I imagine he'd show up. After all, we've got some new guests. Why wouldn't he want to check us out? Last time I saw him, why he was all blood and lust in his eyes. He had a fresh scalp in his hand, and as he's talking, you notice very easily that Carol is starting to get kind of shaken and disturbed by this.
Can I do a psychology roll and see if he's bullshitting?
Yes, you may.
Oh, 9.
A pass, I'm assuming then?
That's extreme.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's full of shit.
All right.
Yeah.
I believe that the notion of Indians collecting scalps is from geographically positioned far west of here. That's not an Algonquian tradition, but more of a Plains Indian behavior.
Oh, well, I don't know. I know I didn't talk to him.
Did you flee this Chief Joseph?
Oh, I closed my door. I know that. That's when.
But if he's ghost, he just walked through the door. No problem.
Oh, you never know. And that's where Jeffrey, rather meekly, he almost, you can barely hear him. He's like, I saw a ghost. Like I've seen a couple since we've been here.
Frankly, I find you rather more credible. Who did you run into?
Well, I don't know their names. They don't speak. One's just a bouncing blue light that kind of moves through, almost like a will-o-wisp, I believe is the term. Mm-hmm. The other's a woman with piercing eyes. Just she almost like she just stares at me almost. I don't want to say, and forgive me, Carol, almost not lustfully, but almost with that much need. That need and desire.
What color are her eyes?
Well, everything about her is almost just a bluish. But yeah, they're definitely the brightest part on her.
And under what circumstances have these visions manifested themselves to you, Jeffrey?
Well, the will-o-wisp just sometimes will be out in the hallway. It's usually when we had more people here that you would see him. Mm. But her, I just started to see her in the past week.
Oh, a recent occurrence. How many times have you seen her?
3 times.
3 times in a week. Do you have a name for her in your mind, Jeffrey?
I call her the bride. She's kind of got hair like the Bride of Frankenstein, so that's why I call her that. Hey, did you see that movie? It's quite good.
I don't make it to the cinema that frequently. She appears to you in the hallway also?
Well, she's usually at my bedroom door.
Within or without?
I close my door at night.
Of course. Dr. Callisham, does that sound like anyone who's been studied here?
Yeah, and she kind of Yvonne sits there and she's like, it reminds me of a patient we had here many years ago. What was her name? Bertram, you remember we had to ask her to leave? And Dr. Winslow looks up, he's like, Ash, Esmeralda Ash, that's who you're thinking of. She's a troublemaker.
Suitable name for a haunter.
How was she a troublemaker?
Well, she was very uncooperative most of the time, but almost she had this personality, like she always got what she wanted, and for once we didn't bend her will, and she was just very angry when we just let her be, and she just kept wanting to talk to people about hidden masters and other a paradise at the center of the earth.
Did she exhibit any kind of psychical abilities?
She was the one that convinced me that there is psychic powers out there.
Well, how?
Oh, she was able to see things happening in other rooms, and we could confirm that was truth. No matter how outlandish of a experiment we would try in another room, she would get it correct.
Kind of astral projection.
Or possibly, or she had a ghost telling her what was going on.
Or a demon.
She never claimed to be able to speak with the dead. So if it was a ghost, just a voice in her head. But
how long ago did you dismiss her, despite these remarkable skills she displayed?
It was in 32. So about 3 years ago.
Now, Jeffrey, you don't ever look inside the offices for records that you shouldn't be peering at, do you?
No, sir. I don't. That's against the rules.
Quite. It's striking to me then that you should have ideas about a world within this world, and so should the bride who visits you at night. Seems quite a striking coincidence.
When you say that, Winslow looks up and he's like, he's not the only one that's had those ideas that's been here. Tolhurst had those ideas too.
And so multiple individuals who appear to manifest remarkable abilities have the same idea, and yet we dismiss it out of sort. It's odd.
Well, I mean, science has shown that the Earth is not hollow. I mean,
I believe it has a rather hot iron and nickel core. Perhaps the inner Earth, however, is something manifest in a different plane of existence, or is some sort of complex metaphor that these sensitive types can directly experience.
And science would also tell you that psychic abilities do not exist either.
You are correct, my Russian friend. If we found proof of this, of course, we would be more than willing to accept it. But now, as of now, I tend to believe in. Are you familiar with the philosophy of Occam's razor? I think the simpler explanation is that someone's been telling stories that have just worked themselves through the patients. He kind of looks over at the servant's door when he says that.
There are a lot of problems with the concept of Occam's razor. Most things that exist in our universe are extremely complex, not simple. So there's an inherent flaw in that philosophy. But in psychology, you're probably right. People like to be important. People like to be special.
Okay.
Considering the psychical research that you all are doing, have you tried setting up cameras to take pictures of the ghosts or the phenomena?
I have not. Dr. Kalisham, care to elaborate on this? She looks up and she's like, it's a little embarrassing to say in my position, but I think I've seen that ghost before also. The blue light.
Will o' the Wisp?
Yeah.
Well, if we go by folklore, and I rolled a 36 in my occult, will o' the wisps lure people to lonely places, and then there's some sort of vampire that kills the person. So I wouldn't follow it.
Oh.
I'd let it be. Not to say that it exists as a will o' the wisp, but there are lots of natural world things that we don't know, and there are lots of creatures that glow. So the anglerfish lures with exactly the same tactic. A little ball of light.
Carol kind of looks up and she's like going, I hate to be a wet towel or a wet blanket in this, but do you mind holding off on this conversation? I'm almost finished with dinner. I'll head back upstairs. I'm having a hard enough time sleeping. I don't want to be having nightmares.
I'm terribly sorry, miss, that my line of inquiry has brought up such unpleasant matters that disturb you. Of course, you rest safely in the bosom of the Lord Jesus Christ, but have you had any experiences here that are distressing other than those of your fellow experimental subjects?
I mean, the only thing that's happened with me is about a month ago, I slept very soundly, and this past week I've been sleeping exceptionally sound, which is not typical for me. And I feel like, maybe someone's been in my room and I wasn't aware of it.
Well, sound sleep should be a sign of health. Have you had many dreams?
None that I could remember.
And in general, have your dreams been a source of distress for you or interest for others?
Well, Dr. Winslow here's been helping me with it. Been exploring the dreams, trying to determine if what I sometimes see is a demon or.
Let's speak of more pleasant things and let Miss Carol.
Well, Miss Carol, pardon. Can you just describe demon you see, just briefly? I promise I won't ask no more.
Oh, well, sometimes I see things that shouldn't be there. Like, when I was at home, I would see a man coming down the hallway. My husband said that it's because of my impure thoughts. But nothing like what Jeff described, like the woman with the hair.
What? Where is your husband? No.
Oh, he's still back at home. We're from Boston.
I see.
He says I need to figure out what's going on and see if we need to get an exorcism.
I could perform for a small fee, no worries. I am good with things.
Oh, are you Catholic?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Maybe. Dr. Winslow, he kind of looks up and he's like going, Boris, it's okay. She's just, we're getting there where she'll be able to control her abilities. So she kind of finishes up her lovely cabbage. You notice that she only took a couple bites of the meat, and then she excuses herself. She's like, I'm sorry about messing up your dinner conversation.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
I hope you sleep very well.
I hope I can remember my dreams. So that means that no one was in my room.
Can I get a read on her to see if she's actually being fairly sincere about what she's saying, or is this?
Sure, you can. Yep.
45 is a regular success.
She believes what she's saying. Now she's away. Dr. Winslow kind of looks around and he's like going, so I heard, if I believe it was Marsden, you were interested in the machine in the attic?
Very much so. Any apparatus that can in any way interact directly with the subconscious mind is of great interest.
He's like, well, then I'd be more than happy. In fact, I'd be grateful if you'd be able to help me out with it. I just can't figure out what's going on. What Dr. Nesbitt had done. He didn't leave his notes are quite jumbled.
Yeah, I come with
Sometimes-
you when you go.
Oh, yes, of course. Everyone is welcome.
And who was the cook?
That was what was his name? Joseph.
His wife, right?
Yeah, his wife was the cook. Mhm.
Are they in the room?
They are not. There's a little bell that if you needed someone.
Okay. Just that I mean.
Mhm.
They're in the kitchen then.
Yeah.
Clean up afterwards.
Yeah, you could probably hear like some plates and move around. So,
Dr. Callisham, would you like to observe while we tinker with Nesbitt's moribund dream machine?
Oh no! If you get it working, I'll be more than interested. But watching you men tinker away on machinery holds no fascination for me.
Fair enough. What do you normally do after you dine? I assume that the subjects are all at their leisure and you have some time for yourself?
I do. I usually will spend some time reading. Got some various books that I enjoy. Finish off whatever wine's not done in the bottle.
And is there any other pre-sleep preparation you make? A tincture or a tea or warm milk?
Oh, no. Maybe I should. Do you think that would help?
There are various unproven suggestions. Some say that the warm lactose and its the complexity of its digestion requires enough energy that it allows one to slip away more gently, and various herbal notions. Given that your sleep is inconsistently satisfying, I wondered if you had a regimen of any kind.
Oh, no. I just usually curling up with my book.
Well, we'll try not to make the machine shouldn't make a great deal of noise, should it, Nesbitt's old machine?
Well, I haven't heard it run in a year, so I'm assuming not.
Very good. I'm going to just have a few more cups of coffee, and then I have all my gear in the bag. I'll be ready to go up whenever you are, Winslow.
Most excellent. Thank you.
I'm going to pop into the kitchen just to tell them that the dinner was delicious and thank them.
All right. When you come in, the drummers are, you see them sitting at a table. Joseph looks up and he's like, oh, were you needing something, sir?
Nothing at all. I just wanted to thank you for the meal. It was delicious.
No. This is my wife, Lydia.
Very nice to meet you, Lydia. Beautiful name.
Oh, thank you.
Anyways, thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Oh, any requests for breakfast?
Whatever you serve.
Oh, usually oatmeal.
What day is it? This was Sunday.
Yeah. So it'll be
Sunday
Monday.
the 12th. Yeah. Anything. It'll be fine.
Excellent.
So I go back.
All right. Joseph kind of follows you because he kind of read that as an indication dinner was finishing up, and starts cleaning up. And then Dr. Winslow gets up. He's like, well, Marsden, no time like the present.
Lead on, Dr. Winslow. I'm very curious to see.
I'll accompany you. Let me put my hat.
Excellent.
Blake, Boris?
Yeah,
Want to see the giant dream machine?
I'll go too, but as I walk, I snatch the big piece of head cheese that the religious lady left, and I keep eating as I go. Waste not, want not.
Very true. Yeah.
Greasy.
If everyone else is heading up, I'll head up as well.
Okay.
Some cabbage.
All right. So you go up the steps into the second floor where your bags were kept, and then he takes you down to the end of the hall, all the way far way down, and there's a skinny kind of door there that he opens up. Alexios would have a hard time. He'd probably have to turn sideways to fit through it. And you go up some very steep steps up to the top. And Dr. Winslow goes, I imagine he must have brought this thing up here in pieces. There's no way he was able to get it up here whole.
Why, yes, I would assume that he would have to build anything substantial up here. I wonder why he chose such a difficult place. Maybe this was his workshop in general, or?
Possibly. I was only here for a short amount of time before he disappeared.
Does the building have a basement?
It does have a basement, yes.
I would think that would be a much more convenient place to.
Near power source and all that. But maybe he needs lightning like Dr. Frankenstein or some such.
Possibly. So as you come upstairs, the attic is full of you've got some boxes and old files piled up, but in the center of the attic is just one large room upstairs, and you see this machine. It's got 5 seats around it, and each seat it doesn't have like straps for your arms, but each seat has like a little metal bowl almost with a wire that would come down to meet on your head. You do see it does have straps, so you can keep it on. You see there's some Tesla coils on top, and then there's a wire that comes down to what looks like a control panel.
Marston, you joked about Dr. Frankenstein, but this looks like it's made to multiply electrocute people.
Yes. An electric train built for 5.
Yes. Now, Dr. Nesbitt said that in his notes that he was hoping that he'd be able to bring people together in their dreams and that they could explore their dreams together.
Common lucid dreaming. Interesting idea.
But there are stools instead of beds. How would one dream while it's strapped into such a... Even I consider this apparatus somewhat ghoulish looking. I guess it's a prototype only. Do his notes say anything about who has been subject to this device?
Well, he tried it on himself. He tried it on Dr. Kalisham.
Oh.
And he tried it on Slaughter, the namesake of this institute, also.
Well, I admire those who experiment on themselves first.
Now, according to the notes, him and Slaughter were able to enter a dream together. Now, Dr. Kalisham, she just said she gave her a headache.
Just a headache. Do they, the notes on the dream that they shared, they don't involve any large cats, do they?
Not that I'm aware of. I was more interested in trying to find the schematics for be able to get the thing running again. Kind of my specialty is dreams, their interpretations and whether or not we really do go to another world.
Have you run across any patients who dream of cats on Saturn? It's an anecdote, sorry.
Oh, yes. No, that sounds like a very unique dream.
I'll have a look down at Theodore and see what his response is to that.
Oh, he's just kind of rubbing against your leg. Did you give him any food?
I'll see if he wanted some, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't eat it.
Yeah.
I'll try it if we want to try some things out.
As a subject, you mean?
Sure. I mean, I hope you can assure me that I'm not going to be electrocuted, but...
Oh, well, I don't think you will. I know there's no record of anyone being electrocuted.
And when you began to work on it, did you find any, broken connections or burnt out tubes or any other signs of, poor wiring or damage?
Well, I will admit that I'm not the best at electrical work.
Well, let's first of all, where is the power tap for it?
You see a large cord kind of coming out, and it goes to, there's a generator over there in the far wall, kind of in the corner.
So let me have an overall look at it before we fire it up. I need to spend 1 point of a regular success for electrical repair.
Okay.
Which I will happily do.
Yeah. So with that success, you kind of are going around. You do find some loose connections. Looks like some of the bolts maybe have just worked themselves loose from the machine being moved around as people were moving boxes and everything. But you're fairly confident that electricity will go to the machine.
Good. And maybe in the process, I can get a sort of sense of what is relayed to what and a little bit of the control panel just
Right.
general.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. I think I would like to observe the operation from the outside initially, but anyone who's feeling like sharing a mental state, I encourage you to embrace the skull cap. After all, Damiel, it's not your first time.
So quick question for the players. How is the progress on creating the crystal coming? The crystal of Nafkan.
Did we have that jeweler working on it?
Remember, he provided a whole load of materials for it.
Mm-hmm.
Although
And some
we
instructional, but yeah, we haven't had a lot of downtime.
Okay.
haven't had any because we've arrived here in town and then it was straight in with the brothers and then straight here.
All right. All right. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure I was on the same page with you. All right. So, Damio, you put that on there.
Let's put it on. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if there's a way you can turn it on slowly, and I'm going to fling the thing off if I get electrically shocked.
Okay.
Perfectly reasonable precaution. Try to make yourself comfortable, though,
All right.
as much as you can on such a stool with such an apparatus on. Boris, Milton, Dr. Winslow, any other takers?
It's like Dr. Winslow was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch how you use the dials and see if maybe if we're successful. I'd like to see the process."
Yes. Oh, and is this all you have of Nesbitt's notes here in this folder?
It is. Yep.
All right.
I wanted to try and talk with some ghosts later or tomorrow, so I want to save myself.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure. Save yourself for the ghosts.
Well, Blake, you've been visiting a lot of exotic places lately. Do you feel up to one more?
Yeah, why not? See if it matches anything that I've seen previously.
All right.
I'd be
Just
curious
don't
what
touch
you
that
say
dial
inside
again.
Daniel's head.
What was that, Marston?
I'm thankful, our Lord, for our daily bread.
Do we need a wet sponge?
Maybe a little moistening up there. All the sweat might be doing it enough for you.
Yes, I think up here in the attic, contact will be sufficient. All right.
Makes me think I'm strapping into old Sparky.
Dr. Winslow kind of chuckles. He's like, that's what Yvonne said.
All right. We'll see if we can avoid causing any headaches. So yes, if you'll both relax, and Boris, that dog is remarkably calm.
Dog's outside.
Oh, you left the dog downstairs or outside?
Yeah, outside.
All right. So, Marsden, give me a luck roll. Ha.
An 11 for 88.
Okay. All right. And Damio and Milton, give me a power roll.
33 out of 90. That is a hard.
Yeah, 27 out of 75. So hard for me as well.
All right. So, Marsden, you start messing with the dials, and you're able to kind of figure out the pattern. And despite what you would think, you see both Milton and Damio's eyes kind of roll up into the back of their head, but not as in pain, just almost like they're kind of like passing out. And Damio and Milton, you both find yourself in a city. It's the sky is dark. There's lots of stars, but you see a lot of people walking around wearing just robes and gowns. The men have long beards that are parted in the middle, and they just seem to be going about their business. And what clothes are you wearing?
I'm wearing black, the same as
Okay.
I always wear.
All right.
Unless, do they change when I appear? And do I see more Milton?
You do see Milton. You're both there.
Are you in my dream? Am I in your dream?
Yes.
We need to remember Blue Dolphin. And then if you say that back to me when we get out, then we'll know that we actually were in the same mind.
Mm-hmm.
So are we dressed as we were when we sat down?
That is your choice.
Okay. Where are we?
Well, I wouldn't be caught dead wearing any of that stuff, especially after I've seen people that have worn it before. So I think I'm making the choice to appear as I would do normally.
Okay. Some of the people, they kind of glance at your clothes and help and say, yeah. Almost like, like you'd see a teenager wearing like their punk outfit. They're just like, oh, well, interesting fashion choice.
That's interesting that they can see us.
Yeah. Pardon me, sir.
He stops. He's like, yes.
We're kind of new here.
Oh, well,
Could
welcome.
you help us out a little bit? Where are we?
Oh, you're in the city of Lomar.
Lomar.
City of Lomar.
Yes. The capital of Lomar, but the capital city is Lomar.
What's the population, do you think?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands.
Are you visiting friends or just on vacation?
We're on vacation.
Oh, well, welcome. It is a beautiful city. The architecture, as you can tell, is quite wonderful.
Lomarian, yeah.
I've heard of one particular feature. Is there a large tower? With a bridge before it somewhere nearby?
I'm looking over at Milton like, what?
a large tower. Well, we have the watchtower, but that's out on the edge of town. There's also the tower where Zelrathos resides. He's kind of the scholar of the city, but I don't know if I'd call it large. It's a few stories above everything else. But
I'll basically describe the tower that I saw in the last vision I had, where the folks were locked away in the room upstairs.
Oh yes, that's the tower of Zelrathos. Yes.
Right. Do you know whereabouts that is from here?
Oh, of course, and kind of points and gives you some directions. Gives you the general things. So once you reach the fountain, you look up and you're a few blocks from there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Oh, well, we try to be friendly, especially the guests.
Milton, what you've been here before?
I think I have seen here before, but not been here before.
I don't understand any of this. Is this not just a dream?
Well, I thought this was supposed to be in the distant past, so I don't understand how we're dreaming of here already.
In the distant past. I don't know of any city of Lomar.
No, neither did I. But this is apparently matching with information we've already got. I'd suggest having a look at that tower, because if the folks are still locked up in there that I saw previously, they may be the ones that have had their minds swapped out. So we might find our dentist friend there.
Well, I'd say lead the way, but should we go back and report? Maybe bring them with us.
I'd like to have a look at the place first.
All right, you lead the way. I'll follow.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not really following. I'm kind of going side by side. But...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see if it is actually there. See if there are signs of Nofke having come through here and rampaged, etc.,
Right.
like I saw previously.
Mhm.
Trying to work out if I've seen the past or the future or what the hell is going on.
Right. Do any of you have any skill in archaeology?
1% and a
Oh,
shit.
I do.
All right.
I got an 06 out of 60, which is an extreme.
Nice. As you are walking along, looking at the architecture, the outfits, you start getting the feeling that the architecture style is reminding you of Roman, whereas the clothing is more of reminding you of cultures on the steppes of the Himalayas. And
Yeah, it's kind of a blend of Roman, Indian. I mean, the style of dress is very, like Nepal or, those are definitely Corinthian columns and Greek, Roman, Byzantine sort of architectural style. These
Did the
people,
Romans make it along the Silk Road, perhaps? So there is the potential that the two cultures could have clashed.
yeah, I think they did, didn't they? Yeah, I think they had silk. I'm just wondering. I mean, it tells me that these people aren't alien. That this culture came from the same place our culture came from. I don't see any weird glowing tubular amorphous blob buildings. I see things made with the golden rectangles and golden sections and same mathematical principles. Let's find your tower.
As we're wandering by, just see if we catch the eyes of anyone. In fact, the guy that we previously talked to, they grey by chance?
they are.
I'm curious too, since I'm already looking at the architecture. Does it look old or does it look? I mean, obviously, if you lived in Rome at that time, it would look much newer.
that way. Yep. It looks like these are not ancient buildings. These look well maintained. Obviously lived in. But
Any statues?
Yeah, there's statues.
Yeah, this is very strange.
So as you make your way along, you notice that of course there's lots of street lamps. It's not electricity that's causing it to light because it's still night. The sky is still dark, but so like glowing orbs at the top of the street lamp. And as you do see the fountain that they were talking about, and you look up, you do see the tower just a couple blocks away. It's quite pristine. Doesn't look like, and Milton, what you were kind of referring to, doesn't look like any rampaging beasts have been through here, destroying things.
Curiouser and curiouser. So have I seen something that's happened or will happen?
And as you, I assume you press on. You come to the tower. There is a queue of people kind of lined up at the door. Just kind of standing there waiting to get in.
Oh, excuse me, miss.
Oh, yes.
We're new to the city of Lomar. May I ask you, why are you all in line?
Oh, well, Zelrathos, he has much wisdom. If you have problems, you would go talk to him, and he can provide some sage advice.
So you're all waiting to get some advice from him. That's very interesting.
Oh, yes. I'm wondering when I should plant my yellow poppies.
Having a look around, have we spotted any signs or anything that's written down?
But no, not maybe a couple like we'll go with no. There's
So
nothing.
no written language on anything.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll ask the lady in front of me then, just to check something. I mean, our because we're new here. Our Lemurian is okay. We're getting pronunciation right.
Oh yes, yeah. Speak wonderful, almost like a native speaker.
Okay.
But how long? When was the tower built?
Oh, been here as far as I'm aware of.
Well, it looks in very good condition. How old are you?
Oh, me? Well, I haven't had a gentleman ask me that in a while, but
I don't mean to be rude.
Oh, okay. Well, I can anticipate what your next comment will be, but I'm in my mid-30s.
What year were you born?
Oh, that was not the next comment I was expecting. But generally, most gentlemen say, well, you don't look a day over 20. But
well, I don't usually flatter women who don't need to be flattered.
Oh, you give me a charm.
Good save.
It's 30, 39. What is my charm? 15. Yeah, that didn't really fail, but it
she
failed.
kind of gives you the smile of he's like, oh, well, this is inept flirting. But
so you were born in what year?
Oh well, in the year I was born in 2280.
2280.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intently listening to every word that she says and trying to focus in on the sound to see if she is speaking English or what is going on here. Because if she thinks we're speaking Lemurian and it just so happens to be word for word exactly the same to English, which I highly doubt, something must be going on here.
I also asked for the same reason, asking the year she was born so that I could see, she could say 79, 73. It might not have any correlation at all to our own calendar. So when she says 2280, I'm like,
right,
Roman year, Greek year, Sumerian year, who knows what.
Give me a for that, Milton. Give me a intelligence roll, but we're going to need an extreme.
Okay. Well, it's good that mine is my highest score. So get on. Well, I made a regular success on a 90, but I'm not burning that amount of luck.
Yeah, not for that. Oh, and she kind of after Damio's comment, she kind of smiles and then starts paying attention to the hair of the gentleman in front of him, in front of her. You're there for a few hours, kind of waiting in line, if you choose to wait in line.
Do you want to wait in line?
No, I'd mainly want to just come here to see what the place was like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see if it exists, see if there was damage from this siege that I'd seen previously, and
how large of a city is it? Is it something that would take literally days to walk around, or something that would only take hours?
Okay. It would take days.
All right. How do we get back?
Snap your heels together. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
You say that out loud?
I'll try it.
Okay. And you believe it?
Well, it's funny that I would immediately do it because I saw the movie.
You guys wake back up. It felt like you were there for a long time. Marsden and Boris, you see them wake up about 1 minute later.
Oh, did not work?
Wait, well, let's find out. Milton, Code
Blue
word?
dolphin. I have an urge to eat fish.
We were in the same place.
Dr. Winslow goes, but you just barely closed your eyes.
It felt like we were there for hours.
Yeah.
So yes, let's Winslow, congratulations. Let's make note of these settings. This is for 2, and they were seated in. We'll do them by Greek letters. So we'll call that delta, and make sure everything's powered down. And then let's descend and find a refreshment so that we can get in detail what your experiences were. Not Saturn again, I trust.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I'm going to put my hand sort of on Marsden's shoulder and lean in and say, "We were in Lomar." I will have to write down the experience. It was quite stunning.
Yes,
I just don't want to say anything in front of
Winslow, would you power the generator down before we continue?
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah, so we'll leave some pertinent information out in front of Winslow. We could do the generals and not the specifics, yes.
Yeah.
I need another pot of coffee, of course,
That actually sounds quite nice.
if we can trouble the drummers. So you say hours, Damiel.
Felt like hours. You know how they say that the time works differently in dreams.
Yeah, certainly it does, but I clocked you at 1 minute 22 seconds only, and that's not from the moment we turned the machine on, but from when you began to suggest physical change.
There was a sort of a warm, fuzzy feeling, a numbness when you turned on the machine, and then we were just there. There was no transition. I never felt like I'd fallen asleep.
Well, and indeed, except for rapid eye movement, as I would describe it, the appearance of your iris moving behind your eyelid, your body posture didn't slump, etc. You remained, I think if we'd, yanked the helmets off, you'd have just snapped to. No headaches?
No? It was quite remarkable.
And you found yourselves transported. You didn't wake up in a new place. You just...
We were just suddenly standing there next to each other, dressed as we are now. We came up with a code word to make sure that that we weren't separately hallucinating.
Winslow, is this similar to your experience with the device years ago?
well, it's similar to
Nesbits and
Yeah.
Slaughters. Right.
Notes, yeah. But
Right. Well, you must want to get into the machine now that it's functional.
What if
I admit I am curious. Yes.
Yes, I think
what if alternatively it has nothing to do with dreams, but it's more as a brainwave synchronizer that's causing us simply both to think the same thing at the same time?
I would not be disappointed with that technology, would you?
No. I mean, definitely you might be able to find out if somebody is guilty of a crime.
The question would be how you collaborate on the same illusory space, or if one party, perhaps one with greater willpower, intellect, automatically leads and projects upon the other some sort of substrate.
That's possible, because it did seem like Milton understood more about where we were than I did.
I do not understand anything you're talking about, but it sounds good.
I'll say
so we're
that
going to take notes.
I'll just immediately repeat what I said, but in Russian. Do you understand now?
Thank you.
It is a dolphin that is blue.
I don't have dolphin, but I have cabbage and head cheese here.
Oh,
That's some
Inside.
caviar.
So we go through the forest of leaving a couple of important data points out for Winslow.
Mm-hmm.
No gray eyes, no forked beards.
Maybe we'll convene together tonight. I swear.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I assume that when Winslow is satisfied that we've got a description of what's going on, we're not going to fire the machine up again tonight.
No.
So it's about overnight accommodations, which for my part include at least clutching a 9-spectral flashlight to my chest in my bed.
But we'll all get together in maybe an hour or so and secretly have. And we're kind of looking for ghosts too, aren't we?
Yeah.
So to speak.
I need to go check on dogs soon. Maybe you gentlemen would like to take a walk.
Well, not a bad idea.
Okay. So you guys head down to outside.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get out, I mean, you guys had dinner. You went up. Marsden was messing with the machine for a bit to get it up and running. So it's dark outside.
We won't
No.
wander too far.
The dog is excited to see you. And everyone can give me a power roll.
Wow. Oh,
Hard.
5.
Hard success.
Only regular.
Extreme.
99 is definitely not a success.
All right. So if you got a hard or better, you see off in the woods a glowing blue ball. And Milton and Marsden, you do not see it.
Well, what are you pointing at? Apart from trees.
Big blue ball.
Blue ball floating in the. Do they see it if I point at it?
Milton definitely doesn't. Not with a 99.
I see lots of trees.
Look. I'm going to put my hands on your head and turn you.
And you poke him in the eye, and now he can see it.
Or I could be like, oh, wait. Where you're standing, there's a tree in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Move
No,
over.
there's just another tree.
Describe the event that you're noticing.
Come.
There
and I
is a-
start walking a little bit towards it.
Don't go towards it. Don't go towards it. Remember what I said. If it's trying to
Anglerfish.
lure us out into the woods, do we have
Boris?
any weapons?
Did you get the extreme, Boris?
Yes.
Okay. As you kind of walk toward it, the blue ball where it's at, you start making out human features like it's a face, and you can kind of see it's a much not as brightly lit blue, but there is a body there wearing like a robe around it, and it's also carrying a sword that's curved like a scimitar.
See, if this thing is actually trying to lure us in like an anglerfish, I can only put this down to the fact I'm so mentally resilient that its influence just is not just washing straight over me.
Hello. Hello.
We better go over by.
Blue person with sword. Hello.
He kind of looks at you, and you definitely see that it acknowledges that you are there, and then it turns and runs off into the woods.
I look over my shoulder at Damio.
You see it bounce off it into the distance there, Damio, and it kind of disappears into the.
I come back and I describe exactly what I saw to the group.
So you saw a person.
With big curved sword, like Saracen.
All right. Well, let's.
It respond when I speak. It look directly.
Let's talk then about what Milton knows about our experience upstairs
let me just first get the best description of this ghost that I can, because that seems relevant. So you saw Daniela Benz in blue light, or as you saw that, but then it resolved into a male figure, I assume?
Was it Mel?
Yes.
With a robe or cloak? I'm sorry.
As a robe, it's decorated with some. Do you have any Cthulhu mythos?
I do not, but I have a pretty high occult.
Yeah, that won't cut it. Okay. So,
What, did the figure have a beard?
no.
But it had a curved sword that you think of as Saracen-like. All right, well, we have a haunting. That's good.
Did it have
One
on
thing we
anything
can
on its
for.
head?
No, it did not. Besides hair.
Can he describe the symbols or whatever it is that this thing's decorated with? And those of us with mythos might be able to pick up what it is.
Yeah, give me a spot hidden there, Boris. Let's see if you were able to kind of note that.
Spot. I have a bad spot hidden. Oh, 17 out of 35. So a hard.
Okay. Yep. He kind of starts describing the symbols to you. A lot of swirls and repeating patterns over and over again. And you can give me your Cthulhu mythos there with that.
It's low, but might have a chance. I'm only 6 points away, so I will burn the 6 points.
Nice.
You recognize a lot of those symbols to be related to this being known as Yig.
Okay.
You look disturbed. I say something wrong?
I wouldn't maybe say disturbed just a little bit. I didn't think that the Lomarians had anything to do with snakes.
Snake?
If it was Lomarian, I'm getting confused as to who's doing what, where, and what the hell.
What do you mean snakes?
Oh, so, you know how Boris was describing it as being kind of very serpentine in its the nature of the symbology? Yeah, there's a serpent god.
Now, thinking back to dinner when they were talking about Indian ghosts, did this guy look native to me at all, or?
Yeah, you could see where they could make that connection if you were already thinking to see if you were thinking you were already going to see a Native American, you could easily make that leap of logic.
All right.
Well, when we were in the dream thing, we were in a place that, I mean, it was quite remarkable. We were talking to people and they were answering our questions. It was Lomar, they said. We pretended to be strangers to the city. And girls said that the year was like 2280.
That's when she was born. So
23, 2310, somewhere around there.
But also that we were talking Lemurian or Lomarian or however they want to call it. That we were speaking it as well.
They can understand us, we can understand them.
Yeah.
Could that be because we're all inside the mind?
Well, as I suggested somewhat facetiously earlier, but it could be the case, perhaps because Blake has already visited this place in a dream or vision. It's, he imposed that venue on you, and this was merely a dream, although a shared one. That's verified by your blue dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
My question, Blake, is would you say that you have learned something new about Lomar, or were you recapitulating ideas that you already had?
Well, the only parts I've seen previously have been the tower. And especially...
You did not enter this time.
No, but we saw it from the outside. And
It was a
the
queue.
Yeah, a very long queue. The outside, though, didn't show evidence of the events taking place that I'd previously seen. So there was no siege. There were no six-legged horned beasts. There was just the queue. There was no sign of that event having taken place. So I'm confused as to whether it might be that it's before then, whether it's a long time after then and they've rebuilt.
Well, we understand that Lomar ceased to exist because of a cataclysm that presumably involved the death of that wise man, the siege you saw, the beasts in the street. Mm-hmm. And that's why the invaders have come to steal our world.
Didn't we learn that it's on like a loop or something?
Yeah, they said it was a cycle that this had happened before, that Lomar had been, will be, and will be again.
Right, they froze their catastrophe in place so that they could hold off the decay to come, in a sense. So perhaps, as if in a phonograph record, you could drop the needle down anywhere on Lomar. But that means that potentially that dream machine could allow you to warn the wise man in the tower. If the wise man in the tower could prevent the collapse of Lomar, then the Lomarians would not need to come to our present and steal humans for their repopulation experiment. Although this, of course, involves paradox.
You just read my mind. I was almost going to say same thing.
Unless he's the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Mm.
It's the paradox. It's the same idea with Abraham Lincoln. You can't go back in time and save Abraham Lincoln because your reason for going back is to save Abraham Lincoln. Therefore, he must have died.
What do you think happened to Abraham Lincoln? Sorry, timeline problems.
He became
lovely theatre I can recommend to you. Yeah.
Come back as zombie.
It also, I don't know about you, Milton, but did it bother you that the girl was waiting in line for hours to find out when to plant her tulips? That does seem oddly like Dream and not like, I mean, she just plant her damn tulips.
I think we need, well, you probably want more context. It could be that maybe tulips are a very valuable plant there. It could be something that maybe her livelihood depends on if she's a florist. So you need more context to work out if it is trivial or not.
Well, it would seem to me then that the wise man was basically controlling everybody's actions by telling them when to do this or when to do that. It seems rather burdensome. I don't know. It's very strange.
That implies someone that if there are that many people going to him, though, that would be someone that has a great degree of power and influence. So it could be that that person is this mastermind behind what's going on.
The man said there were thousands of people there. It looked like a combination of Roman and Indian architecture.
Well, the Greeks would see the oracle to find out decisions.
Well, they would find out decisions about if they should go to war or not whether they should plant their petunias.
But if you have a city with a few thousand as opposed to an empire, many questions could be answered, trivial or major.
It seems incredibly trivial, though, but
we don't know what we don't know what the
we don't know the context, like you said. Yeah.
Correct, the vital issues and circumstances are, or indeed the mechanism of translation between English and Lomarian. I wonder, Damiel, if you had spoken Greek to the woman, how she would have responded.
I was going to, and I completely forgot to do it. I
wouldn't worry about that. If I can trust any of you fellows to keep an eye on Winslow, I'm certainly going to that device as soon as humanly possible. I missed out on your interplanetary cat monster travels. I in fact got bludgeoned and thrown in the boot of a car, so I feel well overdue.
To be honest, given what happened to Owen, I think you were lucky that you missed out on that.
Oh, that's a fair point. Sorry to be insensitive, Damiel.
It's okay. I've gotten
That wasn't
past that.
sensitive, right, in human terms?
Ah,
Thank you. So, do we want to set a ghost watch overnight? Or do we just want to get up bright and early, have a refreshing oatmeal, I believe you said, and then crank that machine up?
There's something to be said, though, Marsden.
Mm-hmm.
Our experience tonight was quite different than the Saturn and the Cats. The Saturn and the Cats was surreal. I mean, we were jumping from asteroid to asteroid and avoiding beasts that were composed of colored lights, and there was Saturn. It's like, why weren't we falling into Saturn? How could we breathe in that environment? That seemed like a dream. Lomar did not seem like a dream.
maybe we go back upstairs now and turn on without prying eye of doctor.
I'm sure that the generator will make a lot.
I think it would be hard to not disrupt the household in a way that seemed inconsiderate, at least.
Maybe we just bring Mr. Winslow, Dr. Winslow in on it. I mean,
In fact, yeah.
pretend
Well,
like
somebody, at least one party who has some idea how the machine works, should remain outside and conscious.
he can be our experiment control. We don't really tell him anything. Let him experience it as if it's completely new.
Yeah. Well, I want to go to Lomar. And only Winslow and I could operate the machine at this point, although I'd be happy to start training others. Sure, I'm sure that you could all, rapidly figure out. It's not that many. It's surprisingly few, adjustments need to be made.
All right.
So I return to the question, do we want a ghost watch overnight? Or am I just going to remain clutching my precious flashlight and hoping the shadow fellows haven't followed us here?
Well, I could certainly do with a good rest because I'm still feeling a
Yeah.
bit beaten up after our recent escapades. So I
I'm
think
going-
staying up.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
been rather a difficult period, hasn't it?
I might wander around a bit, but I'll probably end up going to bed.
I'm going to bring my dog up. You can watch while I sleep. His ear is better than mine anyway.
What I think I will do, though, is employ some ghost hunting techniques that I'm aware of. Now, we know this corridor that supposedly these things go up and down to get to particular rooms. Are there any things like pot plants or anything that we can move into the room that could be used to into the corridor that could be used to obscure a camera that's set up with a piece of very fine, maybe fishing line or twine across the corridor, so that when anyone goes past, hits the twine or the string, sets off the hidden camera, and then gets a good view of what's tripped it. So I'm wondering if these ghosts have any substance.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's plants or something, potted plants you could use for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've got a reasonable skill in photography, so hopefully I can set that up
Okay.
with a few cameras.
Anything else anyone else is doing before they lay down for the night?
Making sure all the lights are on.
All right. So everyone was getting ready to go to bed. Milton, give me a photography for setting up your contraption.
Yep. Probably kept the lens cap on.
Got it. Okay.
I'm gonna add to it in just a slight way. I'm going to go down and borrow a little bit of flour from our kitchen, and sprinkle it in the hallway so that if it's a human with footprints, we'll
Right.
also know that.
Or
Got it.
something with footprints.
Yeah.
And then poor Mrs. Drummer will be up at 5 in the morning, wondering why there's flour in the hallway.
Like, oh, now I got to sweep this up.
Poor thing.
And then trip over a fishing wire. All right. Are any of you clairvoyant?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
What is my skill? I'm a medium.
Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So, Damio and Marsden, when you do eventually go to sleep, you guys sleep well.
Okay.
Boris and Milton, probably about 2 in the morning, you both kind of wake up and you get a sense that something is moving down the hallway.
I stand up and I grab my dog by the collar and I tell it to be quiet. And
Okay.
I go to the door and crack it open just enough to look out.
When you look out, you see a blue glowing figure kind of not really walking, almost floating down the hallway. She has hair kind of sticking up like the Bride of Frankenstein, and you see her just floating past your door, headed down toward where the patients are.
I think I'm doing the similar kind of thing, opening the door and having a look.
Okay. Yep. That's what you see. And both of you can give me sanity for seeing what you're pretty sure is a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Would I get that? Because I've spoken and had ghosts in my pocket.
Okay. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, you're probably kind of just used to it.
I passed by a mile, 35 under 80.
All right. That is a loss of 0. So, yeah.
Okay.
So she keeps floating down the hallway.
Hey, Esmeralda!
Yeah, I was going to say, excuse me, madam.
She turns around and looks at you and give me a power roll.
Okay.
I get a bonus dice on my power rolls because
It's not going to matter.
I got a 15 and a 75, so 15.
I rolled a 0-1.
Wow.
92.
All right. You both lose 1d20 magic points.
Ouch.
Jesus. So if I go under 0, do I start hit points?
Hit points start coming off.
I'm going to beat this bitch with a bat.
Yeah, it's I take 3 hit points damage.
Okay.
4 hit points damage, and I go, Octavian, sick. Go.
Okay.
Get the bitch.
So he comes running at her, and when he kind of like jumps, he just passes through her.
I know that, but
She kind of looks at both of you, and you see her eyes starting to glow again.
Fuck that. I'm diving in the room.
No. Why you do this?
She kind of looks at you, and she's like, she turns her head this way, and then she just turns her back on you and starts going down the hallway again.
I go to knock on Daniel and Marston's doors, whoever's closer first.
Okay.
Do I have physical, like, how am I wounded?
Yeah, it almost like you're drained, like
Drained, okay.
energy drained. Yeah.
So whoever's door is closer, I'm not banging to wake up the whole house, but I did.
Right.
Who's there? What's up?
Ghost, bride, she hurt me.
Oh, hop out of bed. Run to the door and open it. Where?
And I point to where she is, and you see I'm like kind of like ice cold, probably, and
Yeah.
Do I see it?
Yep, you do, and you see she is standing outside of Jeffrey's door.
I'm going to take a step at her and say a prayer and cross myself that should drive demons away.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's my belief. Does it have any?
When you say that, she kind of looks at you. And you get a kind of a evil little smile on her face. And you can give me a power roll.
I got a 66, which is a regular.
She got a hard, so you lose 1d20 also.
Oof. 2.
The only
Yeah.
thing I'm thinking of is doing is running to the kitchen and grabbing salt.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's what the grandmama told me. Yeah.
Yeah, you go run it off.
I still have my multi-spectrum flashlight in hand because shadow creatures, but it's not on, and I stage whisper down the hall. Madam Ash, I assume.
She stops again, and her hand was starting to pass through Jeffrey's door. So she's her part of her right arm is you can't see it anymore, and she kind of looks at you, and she's got a curious look on her face.
I'm curious what it is about the boy that brings you onto this plane with us.
It's like she actually pulls her hand back, and kind of starts floating down the hall toward you. When she's got her hand reached out, and she keeps getting closer and closer.
Should we step out into the garden to have this conversation, Madam Ash? May I call you Esmeralda?
She reaches out and she touches your forehead, and it's cold, real cold where she touches it, and you can give me power. So,
wow, strange. Hey, hard success.
Oh,
15 for 80.
Okay. She actually pulls her hand back quickly off of your forehead, and you see her head toward the steps down.
Is she dead?
Are
Or is she
are your
ghost?
remains in the cellar, Madam Ash?
She kind of looks back, and she just smiles, and you see kind of like a little chuckle. But there's no sound coming at all. Almost like it is a supernatural absence of sound.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take my own counsel and perhaps we'll visit the cellar during the daylight.
Right. So, Boris, as you're coming out with the salt, you see her, she heads out the front door and goes outside, and you see her headed toward the woods, kind of in the same direction that blue light you had saw earlier.
I go to the door. Do I see another blue light in the distance or just
her.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
As that whole thing is taking place, can I grab Milton's camera and try to take more pictures of her?
Sure. Yeah. So you
I'm not even trying to focus. I'm just holding it up and clicking.
All right. Give me an arts and crafts, because that's what photography is under.
Yep.
Yeah, I failed. And the lens cap is still on.
It may be like you're moving it, because I believe those cameras probably you had to hold pretty still to get a reliable picture anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Now, so there is Blake still in the hallway?
Oh, I dived back into my room. I was
Right.
not going to get hit by a second burst of that thing.
All right. And Boris is running around with the salt cellar, and Damiel is stumbling down the hall with a camera.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go back to bed.
I'm sure the dog was barking at this point. I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody's waking up.
Yeah. Well, actually, the Ted his door doesn't open, but both Carol's and Jeffrey's door opens. There I go. What? There's a dog. Dog
I've
in
seen
the
the
house.
ghost.
And Carol kind of goes white. She's like, "There was a ghost. Oh no."
The bride. We've seen her.
Jeffrey steps out. And he's like, "What? Is she came for someone else?"
She
What do you mean
heard.
she came for someone else?
She I was the only one that have seen her.
We've all seen her. I think I got pictures of her.
She came for you, Jeffrey.
Oh.
She was at your door when she responded to the name Esmeralda Ash. And she's very dangerous. After her visitations, have you woken up fatigued or damaged feeling?
No, I just have a desire to go for a walk.
In the woods?
Well, just to wander. Almost it's not uncontrollable, but a powerful wanderlust almost comes over me.
Love fish.
I think we'll at least try changing rooms for tomorrow night to see whether that affects her approach. This institute, Blake. Oh, he's gone.
I'm here. We're calling from the room.
She's gone.
She's gone.
Gonna stagger out very, very wearily.
I got a whole bunch of pictures of her. Here's your camera.
Oh, okay.
I think.
What's that?
Lens cap. It's all right. I didn't catch it either.
Doctor, I'm freezing. She did something. Like she took my energy. I touch your hand with mine, and my fingers are like ice cold still.
I felt
You ain't the only one
too.
that she. You ain't the only one that she drained dry, mate.
You too?
I could sleep for a decade or two.
Jeffrey, you said that you want to go out into the woods. You feel compelled.
Yeah, I do. I mean, not now, but normally.
We should check out the woods tomorrow.
I am wondering if this is what happened to our previous guest here that just vanished in the middle of the night. That he got out and got a visit from our friendly neighborhood female vampire.
Will o' the Wisps.
Yeah.
Well, between us, we also have to wonder if this woman was supposedly sent away from the Institute. Why is she deceased and haunting it?
I don't think she's deceased.
I don't think it's her. See, from my
She
beliefs,
responded to the name.
well, yes, from my beliefs, there are entities called demons, and demons often pretend to be people. So she may have responded, but if it was this monster, this vampire, this demon, she's pretending to be Esmeralda Ash. She probably ate Esmeralda.
In which case, Esmeralda again wasn't sent away, but is still somewhere nearby. And I thought your beliefs were rather uncertain these days.
I don't know. It's difficult to give up one's beliefs even when one's giving up one's beliefs.
from my perspective as a parapsychologist, have I come across any reported instances of ghosts apparently glowing a particular color, i.e., blue? Because I'm leaning towards this is more something like astral projection rather than.
Yeah, I would say no. You have not.
There we go. That's another nail in the coffin. So yeah, I don't think it's a ghost.
Why is it that these things always show up in creepy places and not like at the supermarket?
Psychological warfare.
The human mind is also more susceptible to influences under certain circumstances. It's hard to see a glowing ball under bright sunlight.
Maybe.
It's hard to hear a subtle noise on a busy streetcar. The streetcars are probably full of the departed, but no one can hear them over the screeching of the rails.
I read a book once on theosophy.
Oh, Blavatsky.
Yes. You had said astral projection, or maybe we both said astral projection. What if what we did today in that contraption was a form of astral projection? But what if there is something nearby and we projected through it? And I talked earlier about doors, like the little girl that went through the door. I told you that story. What if there's a door somewhere and we just went through it while our bodies remained here, but other people have gone through it physically?
Doesn't explain the time difference.
Well, maybe cave that Hillbillies was going to have the door.
Oh, yeah. The Dead Man's Pass or whatever it was called. Devil's
Something.
Pass. Wow, it's a lot to take in, and I'm so tired. I don't seem to be as affected by it as you guys were, but I did feel like I got drained.
I don't feel like my spry and vigor 75 years of age anymore.
I could easily lay down for a couple of days. I feel like I've been beaten up all over again.
I pass you some vodka.
I don't think that we needed any traps. I think that we could have just waited up and we would have seen this. I'm going to bed.
How is the flower on the floor?
Yeah. We
trampled all over it. We've been back and forth 8 times, and the dog too.
Dog tracks.
Poor Mrs. Drummer for nothing.
Was the apparition barefoot?
You didn't see feet.
Oh, okay.
Floating with a very long dress.
Did the dress suggest a time period or occasion?
You can give me an anthropology.
That's not actually here.
Yeah, it's not on the pulp sheet.
Oh, it's not on the pulp sheet. Okay.
Let's see.
Fashion.
Yeah. Archaeology.
Yeah, I'll give you.
What about credit rating?
No, credit rating won't get it. I'll give you archaeology.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be able to make that roll in strange circumstances. So no.
No.
Well,
I didn't even beat
the
that
last
one.
75 years, I might have seen it.
Especially if it were on the Russian steppe.
Right. No, you did not recognize the clothes.
Did the name the bride seem to make sense though?
Yeah, because of her hair.
Right. Specific to a cultural reference that Marsden doesn't even know. Okay. All right, you maniacs. I'll make a special pot of coffee and wake you up since you're looking a bit worn.
Did Milton and I recognize the dress? Was it like the Hindu dresses?
Oh, the ones that
In
in your no, it was not.
Okay.
Did it have the same kind of Yigian symbols type stuff on it?
Yes.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
All right, I'm going back to bed.
Okay.
I will go back to bed and keep all the lights on. And more.
I won't.
All right. So you guys go back to bed. Boris, you go back to bed?
Yeah, I have a
All right.
little tiny glass of
Little tiny. All right. So the 3 people that got drained, obviously you'll recover your magic points 1 an hour. But give me a Constitution roll, and if you got down into your hit points with a penalty die.
Oh. Yeah.
I failed the first roll, so.
Yeah, you sleep late.
Oh, yeah.
Half.
Oh. Milton, you just
Penalty.
despite what you thought, you wake up at about your normal hour that you normally would wake up. Boris, you're going to be sleeping probably till afternoon.
How many hours is that for magic point recovery purposes?
We will say that was it was probably about 2. You get up about 5, so not 5 hours is what I'm saying.
All right. I was going to say, no way am I functioning on that little.
Yeah.
And I only lost 2, so I got my 2 back while I was asleep.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always get 6 or 5 or 6 hours is all sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just stay asleep until somebody comes to drag me out of bed.
Yeah, if I can get another 10 hours sleep, I'll be really good.
Yeah.
Thinking also of that hit point recovery, because Pulp runs differently to regular Cthulhu. Do we get any chance to regain hit points that night?
Yeah, you'll get your standard hit point back. Was it 1d4 for night
That's
rest?
for first aid. It's a flat +2. Unless you've got quick healer, which is +3.
Okay, yeah, then you get your 2 hit points back. And
Hey, another week and I'll be back to normal.
there you go. Yeah. Okay.
Good morning.
Those 2 words should never, ever be put together in the same sentence. I'm yet to discover a good morning. Life begins at 1 minute past noon.
What is the morning? It's a Monday, so it should be the most normal of days. What is the operating procedure around the slaughter facility of a Monday morning?
About 7:30, you heard the bell for breakfast. The patients they got up, they went down to eat. If you joined in, then you see there's a schedule of tests posted, and it looks like Dr. Winslow is going to handle Ted and Carol, whereas Dr. Calisham was planning on doing the test with Jeffrey.
So I am going to, edge myself into the kitchen and apologize to the staff and arrange for a proper pot of coffee to help my comrades recover from their difficult night.
Oh, that's no problem, love. No problem.
Thank you. The drummers are nice people. Is there any lingering anything on the cold spot where she touched me?
Nope.
Just the memory of how uncanny it was, but I wasn't zapped. So, all right.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'll make the rounds with the coffee. But before I leave the dining hall, I would like to advise Dr. Calisham that we met Jeffrey's visitor last night.
Quite fast. So you did. Was she as he described?
I think very much so. What's most remarkable to me, Doctor, is that as far as I can determine, she hasn't actually harmed him, whereas she impressed us as quite dangerous and actively malicious. So she's neither a figment of his imagination, an artifact of a dream, or something that he perceives because of any special faculty. In fact, our entire party was capable of witnessing her passage. We tried to get photographs, but were unsuccessful. But she, frankly, laid a few of us quite low.
Oh, my.
She did seem to respond to the name of Esmeralda Ash, which is Father Damiel thinks might be because she would respond to any such suggestion as a malevolent entity. But I think we need to do some research as to what happened to Miss or Mrs. Ash. Do you know?
Miss.
Whatever we can learn about what happened to Miss Ash after she formally left this facility needs to be looked into. At any rate, I don't want to impede your morning schedule. I just thought it might be useful for you to know that Jeffrey is experiencing something quite real. And she was entering his room when we disturbed her progress. It seems quite personal.
Oh, well, what do you think we should do? I mean, I guess you're going to research that. I mean,
yes, it's too early, and I will speak to the others before we formulate a plan. But I thought, in terms of your interaction with the young fellow, it might be helpful for you to know that what he's experiencing, what he's describing, is quite literally an external reality.
Oh. Well, I appreciate it, and yeah, if we could get pictures or some kind of proof, and imagine the boon we could have. We could save this place.
No, it's true. Viable photographs of such an entity would be worthy of public attention and funding. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can rouse the fellows.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm already down there drinking coffee.
I'm going to see if I can find Yvonne. If she's around at this hour.
She is. Yeah.
So looking like death warmed up.
Yeah. She's like, Milton, did you have some of the Russians vodka last night?
No. Esmeralda decided to take a drink out of me instead. So,
Yes.
I'm wondering, have you got anything that she left behind from her last visit here, or anything that she wrote, anything that's got a connection to her?
Well, we have her file.
Yeah, if I could have a look at that, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I have it in my office, actually. So the conversation last night at dinner, and she's kind of walking down the hallway as she's talking, made me think of it, and that's why I dug it out. Yeah, and she gets out it's not a very big file, and there's a little note ledger of her activities, and some of the studies. There's a picture of her. And then there is the kind of the summation of it, which is, I will show it to you here.
Name, Esmeralda Mary Ash with an E. Date of birth, that will be, I would immediately think that's the 9th of December, of December, but it's the other way around, isn't it? It's 12th of September, 1905. Place of birth, Kingston, New York. Subject is extremely gifted. She consistently gets high marks in most ESP tests we conduct with her. Like many of the gifted subjects we study, her home life and social life were troubled by her gifts. She is, however, especially difficult to work with. Yeah, you got that right. It's clear that she is used to getting her own way. Yeah, you entitled little... Aided in large part by her magnetic personality, her psychic vampirism personality. I dare say she would make an able mesmerist if she turned to that. From her stories of her upbringing, it's clear that her premonitions and other talents cause no small amount of fear in her community and even family. This has surely only increased the negative qualities of her behavior. You got that right, definitely negative. As difficult as she can be in one-on-one sessions, she also insists on spreading her theosophy-tinged spiritualist claptrap, well, there's a mouthful, among the other subjects here. While we don't require our subjects to ascribe to the same principles of logic and scientism we do, I think we must ask her to desist in talking about hidden masters living in some preposterous paradise at the center of the earth. She sounds like a lovely individual.
Yeah, she was troublesome.
Do you mind if I keep hold of this for a couple of hours just to have a look through?
Oh no, that'll be no issue at all.
After a couple of hours, I'll want to do something, but it depends on what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are we all troubled in some way? Do we have that as a common factor? Is that why we are together as friends? I mean, I'm troubled.
Samuel, I believe it is generally considered to be true that the human condition is rather troubled. Some people consider a fall from grace to be a reality. Freudians consider us all to be neurotic, if not psychotic. Find me an untroubled person, and I'll give you a simpleton.
What if certain people, though, who are troubled, it causes these psychical abilities to be manifested?
Then I should expect the sanitarium would be full of waves of precognitives.
But I think that sometimes it is. I've heard stories of priests from my church going to visit sanitariums and having all of the patients suddenly start screaming out, because they are aware that a spiritual man is there and they're terrified. So maybe there is something to that.
Perhaps, and I understand that you have been undergoing what you would consider something of a spiritual crisis of late. Is there a practical answer to the question that you're bringing up?
Not really, just speculation.
Fair enough, and speculation is worthy. Yes, Blake.
I was going to say there is a certain degree of truth to what you say.
Now, I was looking forward to cranking up the dream machine today, but given the events of last night, I wonder if we shouldn't engage in some more relaxed activity, perhaps a long walk in the woods to look for some unmarked graves.
Yeah, perhaps play with the machine later tonight when we're...
I don't think you're going to find graves. I think you're going to find something else. But give me an hour or so and get more coffee in me, and I'll hopefully give you something a bit more concrete.
Yeah.
Good. Very strong coffee. I like.
It should pour slowly, I find. Not quite molasses, but more than honey.
Perfect.
Once my taste buds have been thoroughly disintegrated, I hope when I've got another couple of magic points, I want to try and use my clairvoyance, focusing in on the file, especially if there's any bits of her handwritten testimony and such, to try and get an idea of where she is.
All right. Okay. Go ahead and give me the appropriate roll. And we'll say it's getting probably about mid-afternoon by the time your enough magic points have recovered.
Okay, so that would be another how many hours?
We'll say I said you got up at 7, so 6 more hours. That gets you to the magic points you need.
That's good. Well, it'll give me a buffer. So it takes me 2 rounds and 2 magic points. That's not bad.
Oh, well, that's not too bad at all.
Right, and then make my clairvoyance roll. 09. So
Nice.
under my 5th.
Okay. So as you are kind of looking, you again see her. She's sitting in a looks like almost a coliseum, I guess would be the best description of it. She's kind of looking down in the coliseum floor. You see these people being essentially whipped with like a cat of nine tails, as the flesh is just kind of being stripped out of them, and they're just screaming, and she kind of smiles and yawns, and then she kind of looks over, and she looks at you. You get a sense that she is kind of looking at you, and she smiles and nods, and then she points right at you, and then points down at the Colosseum, and gets a wicked look on her face. And then she looks down. You see a person get their head cut off by a scimitar.
I'll give her a grand old British gesture.
She just kind of chuckles.
Uh-huh. Ay. Oh, hopefully I'll either pull myself out of the vision or wait for it to fade before she does anything more.
She just it's almost like you were nothing to her. She kind of looks at you and just like, if you want to watch, that's fine.
I will relay to the others then. Yeah, she is definitely alive. And she is most certainly a sadist that has everything she deserves coming to her when I find her.
Evil bitch.
Milton, it seems to me that you know more than what you're telling us.
About what?
About her and about that other place that we were in.
No, I don't know anything about her specifically. I never heard the name before we got here. The only things I've seen about Lomar, particularly that tower, because that tower's come up twice now when I've been trying to get visions of where people are. First of all, looking to find out where our dear friend the dentist has gone, and the whole body swapping or mind swapping thing we've been finding bits and pieces of.
Right.
I think his mind is in the body of someone who's in that tower. But I'm still confused as to the whole timescale of this, because the last time I saw them, they were all trapped in that room. Those 6-armed or 6-legged creatures with horns were outside, and it seemed like the city was under some kind of siege. But what we saw contradicts that, or appears to contradict that. So I'm getting bits and pieces of information that I'm trying to correlate. I'm not hiding anything. I don't have the complete picture. I'm making best guesses.
I see. So we'll know hopefully tonight whether we travel to the same time period as you say. And if we don't, then maybe it's random.
I like Marsden's theory of like a record. You could put it on at the beginning, the middle, the end.
I hope so.
But then does it, what happens when you get to the end of the record? Does it reset and they forget all of their memories from the last loop, or does it carry over, or how, again, lots of gaps.
Well, as you described it, people waiting in line, it didn't seem like anybody was panicked. If they knew they were going to die soon, don't you think they'd be doing preparations to stop an apocalypse? So I would say no, but this is pure speculation.
Again, that's all we can do at the minute is speculate.
We don't even know how long the time period is. It could be 4 hours. We only experienced 2 hours of it.
And as you described it, you chose to leave.
Right.
You intentionally woke yourselves up, which may have taken both of your efforts. If one of you had resisted, how would that have gone? Who could say?
Who could say? Yeah.
But you were.
But if
was
what I was going to say is, if that time period is 1,000 years, our chance of landing at the same hour is probably pretty slim, even with the same settings.
I would even suggest that there would be some internal logic of continuity that would prevent that, or the dreamer would run into the dreamer himself, and the dreamer himself, and all dreams would simply be, oh, it's me again. It's me again.
Right. Are we walking in the woods?
Before we go out into the woods, I'm going to draw a card.
Okay.
Does anyone have an important question? A yes or no question that you
Is
can
it a
think of?
good idea to go walking in the woods?
Would it be beneficial to go walking in the woods?
That's more specific.
I was wondering about, well, I have, after all, we're all troubled. I am prone to certain dark suppositions and was going to ask a different question, but I will suggest then, if we should walk in the woods this early afternoon, will we find something of import? And if that meets with your approval.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Give me your roll.
"58 is the narrowest success. Well, 2 points.
That was the confusion of our questions.
So if you take a walk in the woods this afternoon, the answer is no. No.
No, we will not benefit from walking in the woods this afternoon.
That is correct.
So
So for the beauty of walking in the woods.
we need
But-
to walk at night. At
What-
nighttime.
What does the answer actually mean? We won't gain any benefit. That could mean that we could stumble on the danger that'll tell us exactly what we want to know. That's not any benefit to us.
I think
We will hone our skills at generating these questions with greater precision. I was unhappy with the last draw regarding the idiot brothers. But for now, I'm going to take advantage of Winslow's daily schedule to go up to the attic and fire up the dream machine.
I'll go with you.
Okay, so you guys head on up to the attic.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you guys head on up there, and who is going to get?
I'm certainly happy to get more information about this to try and again fill in some gaps and try and work out exactly how this metaphysical process works. So yeah, put me into old Sparky.
Okay. So we got Milton.
Yes.
Okay.
Boris,
Damiel.
do you want to step on the lever and then press the... You can pull this bar if one of us starts to shake or drool.
Okay. That is good. I'll do.
In fact, I imagine that great hound of yours could sense some danger before even you did, or we showed external distress.
Probably.
All right, I'm strapping in.
All right, so you guys get strapped in. Boris, here.
We've got a walking mountain that could do this in theory, and then get Boris in on the action as well.
I figured the walking mountain was probably going to join you guys. And
fair enough.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, so the machine gets fired up. Boris, you see almost immediately they all kind of get the same reaction, and you guys wake up in the city, or you're in the city. It's nighttime. People are still walking around, going about their business.
Whereabouts? So, do we appear in the same spot as we appeared in last time, or are we somewhere different in Lomar?
Maybe not the exact same spot, but probably within eyesight of where you appeared last time.
Okay, so same vicinity.
Yep.
We are past 2 hours.
Yeah, if you guys were going to the tower, that was going to be the perfect stopping point when you walked in. Yeah.
Or is that where we're going?
I have an idea. Let's go to the tower.
I assumed. Okay.
Yeah, I actually know the way. I mean, because we walked there already.
Yep. Marsden, were you raising your hand?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
We need to come up with another code.
All on board to meet the great wise man of Lomar. I just didn't know if this was the same Lomar that my friends had seen before.
We've had blue dolphin already. We need to come up with a different color and animal.
My brother was named Peter, but is dead.
Dead Peter.
Okay.
All right. So you guys walk along. Most of the Lomarians, if you're choosing to wear the same outfit that you went to sleep in, they kind of glance at you the same way because you're dressed differently in clothes that they're not used to seeing. And you come to the tower. You see the line there. Who has the lowest luck of the three of you?
Probably not me. I'm on 93.
I'm on 87.
88.
All right. So Damio, give me a luck roll.
21.
All right. It looks like it's maybe going to be less than an hour in the line.
Okay.
Okay. So as you kind of sit there, people are getting into that inane conversation you get into when you're standing in a line for a long time. You come up the steps, and the door opens, and you see this gentleman sitting there, and next to him, all three of you can give me a sanity roll.
Hey, that's a good sign.
Okay. Pass.
Fail.
If you fail, you just gasp. Sanity loss. Because you see the old man laughing and joking with Wyatt.
What the fuck?
And that's where we'll stop.
Oh, wow, cool. Wait, can I ask one question before?
Yes.
While we were waiting in line, can I do my how old are you, when were you born?
Sure.
To see if we're in the same year?
Yeah. And you
same
are.
year. 2280. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're here looking for puppies too?
Yeah. No, she's looking for this gentleman was looking for advice on if he should get married or
Yeah. No, I was looking for the same person, just to see if we were in the same year.
Yeah.
Our players included Jason Melichok, Matthew Sanderson, David Gassaway, and myself. Mark Anthony will be here next week with Keith Craig as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes.
The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.